Hello, Sea Lion fans, and welcome back to this latest edition of Cross Exam. Joining us today, we have Dr. Nicole Cosby, Athletic Training Program Director and Professor in Kinesiology, and we have women's basketball team captain, Sydney Peterson. Nicole, take it away.
Sydney, I am so excited that I got chosen to interview you. Like, I can't think of another person on this campus that I actually want to get to know a little bit better. So for our audience, why don't you tell me why you came to Point Loma? Like, why did you come here?
So I first heard about Point Loma through a mutual friend who's actually on the soccer team. Just obviously how beautiful the campus is. And I always used to have basketball tournaments here. So my family and I kind of drove through it a couple times, and I was like, wow, this is pretty awesome. And then I got the opportunity, I got a scholarship here to play basketball. And so I had never really thought about going to Point Loma for school purposes first. It was always kind of basketball first. And then I realized how great the athletic training program was, and that the master's program was being kind of, at that point, it was just getting formed. And so then it was kind of a double whammy. It was a definite yes for both basketball and the new athletic training program. So
one fun fact that I know about you is that you graduated in like 3 years, which is like, I feel like such an accomplishment. Well, can you tell us, what do you think your biggest accomplishment is to date? Like, if I were to ask Sydney, tell me the best thing that's ever happened to you in your life. What would you say that is?
Wow. I would probably say graduating in 3 years was probably the best accomplishment, not just because, I mean, having to juggle basketball and school, it was a lot of like, I just kind of had to figure it out. And I know you and I had constant meetings figuring out which classes I was going to take. And I had a lot of meetings with my advisor, Suze, as well. And just kind of like, that was the first time where I didn't just kind of follow the normal path. I kind of was like, I'm going to do this because it's not only going to help my career later with entering the master's program, but like, I want to do this for me. And I knew I could do it. So jamming all those summer classes in, jamming in extra classes when I could it was a lot, but it was pretty cool when I got it all done.
Well, there is no secret that you are a rock star in the classroom, and then you're also a rock star on the court. And so one of the things that I think is really cool and unique about you is not only are you an athlete, but you're a scholar athlete, which, like you mentioned, is really hard to juggle. But what I'm curious about, because I played basketball, at what age did you pick up the rock? At what age did you pick up the ball and you were like, this is what I'm called to do. This is what I'm going to do. And then maybe tell me a little bit about when you really started to like turn it on and started to practice more and started to develop your skill more.
Yeah. So it's kind of a funny story. I came home one day and I asked my mom, like, hey, can you like buy me a basketball? I've been playing at recess. And this was like first, second grade. And she was like, yeah, sure. Like kind of just thinking it would be for fun. And I already like knew how to dribble and I could like do a layup, like just kind of just like a natural talent type thing. And she was like, how much have you been playing at recess? Like, what do you, like, you can play basketball. And so then she put me on my first rec team. And then my mom still didn't really know kind of the skill level. And then I was sort of like one of the best on that team, and it was all boys too. I was the only girl. And so she's like, okay, I think this is like going to be a legit thing. Let's get her on a real club team. And then it wasn't until, I want to say, I was playing year-round soccer and basketball until 8th grade. And so I was kind of having a lot of overuse injuries and growing pain injuries, Osgood-Slaughters, plantar fasciitis, those types of things. So my mom was like, I think it's time to choose one. And I was like, basketball was always my number one. So that's when I kind of really trained hard. I was doing probably up to 20 hours a week of practice every day with school. So yeah, I would probably say around 9th grade. High school was when I really, really figured it out.
And so one of the things that you mentioned is like, you're injury prone, right, Sydney? It sounds that way to me. So walk me through currently you're in the athletic training program here at Point Loma. How did your injuries or the interactions that you had with other healthcare professionals, how did that kind of either impact your decision to go into the field of sports medicine, particularly athletic training? Or what was that one moment that you knew that you wanted to be an athletic trainer?
Yeah, so the first time I got seriously injured was I had a stress fracture in my ankle. And I went to physical therapy. It was like 8th grade going into 9th grade. And that's when I was like, wow, this is super fun. I always had an idea that I wanted to do PT or something with helping athletes with injuries, just because I was, like you said, I'm pretty injury prone. But it wasn't until he was a PT, but he was also an athletic trainer, and he kind of was just talking to me about the difference between being in a clinic as a physical therapist versus athletic trainer assigned to teams and that kind of thing. Just they're similar, but they're different as well. And so that's when I really focused on athletic training. So I've known I wanted to be an athletic trainer pretty early, like 8th or 9th grade. And so I think that's helped me a lot with what classes I wanted to take in high school, because they kind of shaped my way, taking electives and sports medicine classes. And as you know, I'm always hurt with my ACL injuries as well. And so just getting that experience even as a patient in the clinic was super nice as well. Kind of a silver lining with being hurt all the time is I was learning as well. So athletic training has always been a big passion of mine. So it's a lot to obviously like kind of think about doing that field, but yeah, it was the right decision on my part.
Well, before we started this crosstalk, one of the things that you told me was some very exciting news that you recently were cleared, which
Yes.
Yay, woo!
Yes.
I'm sure your coach is happy. I'm sure your peers are happy. But can we talk about being an injured athlete on a collegiate team, and what outside activities have you picked up as a result of not being able to be on the basketball court, and what have you done to kind of engage with your peers on the court since you haven't been able to practice or participate 100%?
Yeah, so I actually, sort of a coincidence, Kobe Bryant was one of my huge role models. He was like one of my heroes, and he passed away 2 days after my surgery. I had surgery on the 24th of January, and he passed away on the 26th. And so one of the biggest roles that I took was still being a leader on my team, but kind of being that leader that was not on the court, obviously, kind of like checking in on my teammates, kind of knowing how to navigate that role that I wasn't on the court anymore, but how can I still be a part of this team? So I read a lot of Kobe Bryant books and just kind of YouTube videos anywhere I could, just kind of, because he was a great leader as well, and his motivation and work ethic was top notch. I mean, he's one of the greatest players of all time. And he had to deal with injuries. He had the big Achilles rupture. So kind of just the way that he navigated it, I tried to work as hard as he did and just kind of get back. So
Man, Kobe Bryant, the GOAT, right?
Yes.
Do you remember that Achilles tendon rupture where he ruptured and he still continued to participate in the game?
He made his free throws and then walked off.
You remind me of him because you have such strong work ethic, and I don't think people probably get to see that on the court, but in the classroom, the work ethic is exactly the same. One of the things that I want to know about you, I mean, I interact with you often, but tell us a fun fact about you, something we don't know about you, but would be exciting to know about Sydney Peterson.
Wow, man, this question. So I'm originally from Seattle, Washington, and I've lived in San Diego since freshman year, 2017. And I guess like a weird fun fact is that I hate the rain. And I always joke about this, that's like part of the reason I might have chosen basketball. If I had grown up in San Diego, who knows if I would have maybe taken up another sport or kept playing soccer, because I cannot stand the rain. And that's a big reason why I'm in San Diego and want to stay here as long as I can, because when we get those torrential downpours in like late November, but I think that's just kind of weird fact. I'm from Seattle, but I cannot stand the rain.
Well, you're getting ready to leave us in like one short year. Like after the spring semester, there's 1 year left. And I always want to know, like, what legacy do you want to leave behind at Point Loma? And then as you move into your professional career, what's the legacy you hope the student athletes that you interact with, that you'll want them to kind of see in you as you interact?
Yeah, so this is a big thank you to the basketball team as well, but me and my other captain, Kara Liggins, who's on the basketball team, we really shaped the culture of our team into, we're going to be tough players and we're going to work the hardest. Like, no other team will work harder than us. And just that we love each other on and off the court. It doesn't matter what happens on the court, but that we're all just great friends, great people. And so I think leaving that legacy for the basketball team is great, and we want to keep that culture positive, because I mean, there's nothing better than being on a team that just care and love about each other. And then for my professional world, a huge thing that I want to leave is that, I mean, I'm an athlete, and so I can connect to athletes as an athletic trainer because of that. I mean, I've been there, I know what injuries are like. And so I guess leaving a legacy of, like, injuries aren't the end of the world. And kind of like I was saying before, like, you don't have to completely be removed from the team if you're injured, or if you're a leader and you're injured or anything like that, because you can still be a huge part of that team, even though you're not physically there, but you're emotionally there. You're there. I mean, most people would still go to practice every day, so you're still a huge part of that team. And I think communicating that to athletes, because a lot of that is when athletes get injured, is the mental health kind of takes a toll as well, because I mean, their sport is not there anymore. And so making sure that they know that that is still a huge impact to be on that team and care for their teammates.
So how long has it been since you've been off the court?
My last game was January 6th, 2020. So it's been over a year.
And when you make your first appearance in your first game, what is the first thing you're going to do? What kind of routine do you have? What does game time look like for Sydney?
Yeah, so I'm very superstitious when it comes to game days. I eat the same thing before I get a Subway sandwich, same Subway sandwich every game. I will listen to music before I wear TMI, but I wear the same sports bra, same pair of socks, and same pair of spandex for every game, no matter home away. Like, it has to all be the same. Then I get to the court, listen to music, and then we're on court at an hour normally. And so just kind of get into the routine, do the same stretches, do the same, just basically the same everything before games. I'm very superstitious.
So if I'm vibing with you, what song am I listening to before the game, Sydney?
Okay. My music taste is so weird, Dr. Cosby. I'm like, I get pumped up on like more chill vibes, and so I normally, a little bit of Khalid will be mixed in there, even though it's like kind of slower, more vibey. I don't get pumped up to like hard rap music or anything like that. And then if I'm really pumped up, I normally listen to like Green Day or Red Hot Chili Peppers or something like that.
So that's a good mix of music on the musical spectrum, right? Okay, we're just gonna do rapid fire right now. Okay, right. And you have like 5 seconds to answer these questions. Okay, Sydney, are you ready?
I'm ready.
What's your favorite color?
Red.
Favorite food?
Tacos.
Favorite number?
24.
Wait, what kind of tacos, Sydney?
Normally beef tacos, but I'm really getting into chorizo again. I like kind of shied away from chorizo, but chorizo's pretty bomb.
Favorite movie?
Remember the Titans.
Oh, such a classic.
Yes, one of my favorites.
Well, Sydney, it has been such an honor to get to know you and to crosstalk you. I was excited when I learned that I got to crosstalk you. So thank you so much for allowing us to get to know you a little bit better.
Thank you, Dr. Cosby.
You're welcome. I think it's your turn.
I have one for you, Dr. Cosby. Yes. Okay. So what would be because you're a college athlete as well, what would be your biggest advice to tell incoming college athletes on how to juggle both athletics and schooling.
Oh man, Sydney, that's such a good one. Okay, so oh man, that's a good one. Okay, let me think about this. So when I was here at Point Loma, because I'm an alum, you guys, go
Yes.
Loma. It was Crusaders when I was here, not Seahawks. Okay, so all that said, I think I took academics a little bit too serious. So much so that I didn't enjoy the time with my peers on my track and field team. So unlike Sydney, who's has been more intentional about getting to know her colleagues on her team, I literally went to practice, I left practice and went to go study. I studied before practice, and I wasn't as intentional about building those relationships. I think when you're a collegiate level athlete, that is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And so if I could go back and tell my 19-year-old self to do something different, it would certainly be to focus on academics, but it would be to be more intentional about creating community and relationships within my particular sport, which was track and field, so that I had these lifelong relationships. So I think that's the one thing that if I could go back and do it all over again, I certainly would do all over again as a collegiate level athlete.
Mm-hmm. Sweet.
Sweet.
Thank you, Dr. Cosby.
Sydney Peterson, you have been crossed.